Sprinkles, Santa Claus's special elf. Because everything is special with sprinkles. Santa Claus knows you're special too, and he has something to say to you. So listen close as Santa Claus shares holiday cheer with you. You can leave a special message for Santa Claus and get on the nice list at www.santaclaussays.net. Now here is the big man himself, Santa Claus!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to all the boys and the girls of the world. And Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes. And welcome to the Santa Claus Says show, where we give a good word for every day during Christmas. And today's good word is joy, to spread joy. Now, here we on the Santa Claus Says show, we really do three things. We spread Christmas cheer by telling some jokes and having some fun with Sprinkles, our elf. Then we also tell a wonderful story of a Santa Claus adventure. In our story today, Santa Claus is a substitute teacher. How about that? And then we read letters from children from around the world. You can find our show on Santa Claus Says on YouTube, which is every night and live stream at 8 o'clock p.m. Then we are also on Facebook, and we are also on podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so you can tune into Santa Claus all the time. Now, we want you to know that you can always go to our website, santaclaussays.net, and find all those ways to find my show, but also to leave me a message, and I will respond to you. You can leave me an email or a voicemail or even a text message. And also, if you leave me a message, you can also get for free my Santa Claus Says coloring book. And I want you to get the coloring book. There's lots of wonderful things in there, and there's many of our Santa Claus Says word of the day for Christmas time. And so our word for the day, as we said, is to spread joy. We'll revisit our word of the day a little bit later on in our show when we decorate Santa Claus's Christmas tree calendar, which will have the ornament that represents today's word of the day, which is joy. Isn't that wonderful? Now, there's the Glockenspiel, boys and girls, and the Glockenspiel means it is now time for Santa Claus's jokes of the day. Here's our first joke. What do reindeer hang on their Christmas trees? Ornaments. Get that? Reindeer have horns, ornaments. Another joke is, how does Rudolph know that Christmas is coming? Well, Rudolph looks in the calendar. The calendar. Get it? The calendar. You know, Rudolph's a deer. Oh, you get the idea. Oh, the Glockenspiel means it's time for our next segment of Santa Claus Says, which is, we call it Christmas from Around the World, where we visit with how Christmas is celebrated by children from around the world, because we do have children from all around the world who come here to visit with Santa Claus. Here in my office at the North Pole, in my workshop office, is where I'm at right now, but I have children from around the world who come to visit here with us here on Santa Claus Says. Today we're going to talk about children from the country of Iceland. Let's learn about it a little bit. Get ready for some fun in Iceland. Children look forward to visits from 13 Yule lads who leave small gifts or potatoes in shoes placed by the windowsills. Homes are decorated with twinkling lights and stars, and the whole country is often covered in snow. On Christmas Eve, families enjoy a tasty meal and read books together. Christmas in Iceland is magical, snowy, and a little bit silly, thanks to those playful Yule lads. Christmas in Iceland. Well, there's the Glockenspiel, boys and girls, which means it's time for Santa Claus's adventure story of the day. And this is a wonderful story. I want you to know, if you have missed any of the prior episodes, you can always go back to our podcast or our YouTube show, and you can listen to the prior chapters about this story, and then each day builds on the next, so you don't want to miss any chapters of our story. And the story is called Santa's Special Lesson, a story of kindness. And we're on chapter 3 right now. This is called Creating Mr. Winters. The next morning, the North Pole buzzed with unusual activity. While most elves continued their regular work of toy making and list checking, a small, specialized team gathered in a secret workshop to prepare Santa's transformation. Jingle sat at a computer doing research. Emma's in the 4th grade at an elementary school in a small town, he reported. Her teacher, Mrs. Smith, has been out on medical leave for a back injury and won't be back for at least a week. Perfect timing, murmured Santa Claus. That means they'll need a long-term substitute teacher. Meanwhile, Belle, the elf Belle, had assembled her disguise team. 3 elves who specialized in costume design and transformation magic were laying out materials on a large table. There were wigs and glasses, different types of clothing, and even special makeup that could change the appearance of Santa's rosy cheeks. This has to be perfect, Belle instructed her team. It needs to be comfortable, enough for Santa to wear all day for several days, but convincing enough that not even the school principal would suspect anything unusual. One elf held up a brown wig with gray streaks. How about this? Distinguished but not too old. Belle nodded. Good choice. Now for the clothes. Teachers dress professionally but comfortably. I'm thinking slacks, button-down shirts, maybe a cardigan so Santa stays warm. Santa came in for the first fitting that afternoon, and the elves worked their magic. They used special elf enchantments to temporarily make Santa appear thinner and slightly taller. The red cheeks become more muted. The bright, twinkly eyes became a bit more ordinary brown behind wire-rimmed glasses. When they finished, Santa looked in the mirror and barely recognized himself. Gone was the jolly round figure in red. Instead, a dignified-looking man in his 60s stared back, wearing tan slacks and a navy blue cardigan. Remarkable, Santa breathed. I look like a completely different person. You'll need to act differently, too, Mrs. Claus reminded him. No more ho, ho, ho laughing. You'll need to be Mr. Winters, patient teacher and guide. Santa practiced his new persona, walking around the workshop with different posture, speaking in a slightly different tone. It felt strange at first, but he was determined to make this work for Emma and her classmates. That evening, Santa, Mrs. Claus, and Jingle sat around the dining table covered with books and papers and half-empty cocoa mugs, and they were creating the lesson plans for Santa's week as Emma's substitute teacher. The lesson plans need to look normal, Jingle explained. 4th graders should be learning multiplication and reading comprehension and science basics, but we can weave the real lessons about kindness into everything. They worked late into the night, crafting a week's worth of lessons that would work for a 4th grade classroom, and also change how the students treated and thought about each other. Well, that is the end of the story for today. Tune in tomorrow, boys and girls, for chapter 4 of the story about Santa and the story and the acts of kindness. Well, we had a wonderful story about, the story is really about the little girl named Emma who needed Santa to come and be with her as a substitute teacher. Now, one of the wonderful things we have about Santa Claus Says is we get letters and we get voicemails and we get emails from you and text messages. Here's a message that we got from Olivia, who's a little girl age 7. Dear Santa, I love snow and snowmen. I am 7 and I go to 2nd grade. I like drawing you pictures, and I made one for you. For Christmas, can I please have a coloring book and some crayons? I want to draw more pictures and show you. I will be good and listen to my teacher. Have fun flying in your sleigh. Love, Olivia. Well, Olivia, every boy and girl listens to me can get a coloring book. You just go to SantaClausSays.net, and here is your free downloadable coloring book that you can have for your very own. And I hope that you'll pick it up at SantaClausSays.net. And we thank Olivia for sending us that letter. And I remind you that everyone can send Santa Claus a email or a voicemail or even a text message at SantaClausSays.net. Now, just a reminder that today's word of the day, boys and girls, is joy. To spread joy. And we want to share that with you. That is an important thing for us to do. I want you to be reminded of that we have a special calendar here. And we are now only 26 days from Christmas. And so what we have is we have a little star-shaped ornament to decorate our tree on a sticker, and we put that right there to indicate that it is 26 days now till Christmas Day. And you can see on our calendar tree, we're going to cover up the tree, we're going to decorate the tree with ornaments for each day with our word of the day, because Santa Claus says to spread joy. You can do that. I hope that you'll join me every day as we look to offer words of good cheer, to have some fun together, to tell an adventure story, and to read letters to Santa here on the Santa Claus Says program. You can always find us on live stream on YouTube at Santa Claus Says. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Apple Podcast and on Spotify on podcast. Every place you go, it's Santa Claus Says that you can do that. We want to remind you also we got special episodes of Santa Claus Says on Christmas Eve when we read the story the night before Christmas, and on Christmas Day when we read the story of the Nativity, the very first Christmas from the Bible. Well, boys and girls, that's about to conclude our show for today. Santa Claus loves you, and I listen to you. And we will see you again here next time on the SantaClausSays.net, and where we always bring you the good news of a cheerful heart, and we also bring you a wonderful adventure story, and we bring you the letters to Santa. We'll see you again next time, boys and girls, here on Santa Claus Says. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll have more fun together. See you later. Goodbye. Merry Christmas.
You're special to Santa Claus, just like sprinkles. Get on Santa's nice list at SantaClausSays.net and watch Santa Claus Says live on YouTube. Tell him Sprinkles sent you.